Dunk, do you remember the first album or single that you ever owned?
Yeah. Poison, Open Up and Say Ah.
Nice.
Tape. That's the first
Yes.
one I ever owned.
Yes.
um, CC DeVille,
Yeah.
what a guitarist.
He
Brett
did.
Michaels,
Yeah. Brett Michaels isn't looking quite so flash these days, but
Ricky Rocket. I can't remember the bass player's name.
What was the big Poison single off that? What was their big one off that album?
Oh,
Um,
Open Up and Say Ah was the actual album, was it?
yeah,
Um,
there was a big
and
single. I
something I
can't. I
said
can't.
or something I did, and my words not come out right. What's that song?
Oh,
Every Rose Has its Thorn. That's
yes,
it, man.
yes,
It
that's
was
it.
on Rage every
Every
second.
rose has its thorn.
That's probably their biggest hit.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm assuming that if that was your first album, that
My
probably
child of
lit
the
the
80s.
lit the fire of guitar playing and introduced you to shredding and all that stuff, right?
Everything is about the guitar solo. It's,
Exactly.
sooner or later, everyone's going to come to realize that.
Yeah. And then the '90s went and fucked all that up, didn't they?
Well, yeah, I feel like it's coming back around though. You hear like country these days, and seriously, it's songs like Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's literally 80s glam band rock souped up with banjos. But not just that. Hang on, backtrack. Not just that, but there's a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that Poison record?
Oh, I would have been, grade six.
Okay.
Grade six. So I suppose, 12, 13.
And did you straight away go, that's it, I want to pick up a guitar and learn how to do that?
No, not when I was listening to that stuff. I was actually after my 13th birthday, is when I got into playing music, yeah.
Okay.
My mate Michael McCartan
Hmm.
taught me how to play Bad Moon Rising on an old cut
Nice.
string,
Nice.
and I was hooked.
Wow.
John Fogerty, mate.
Yeah, what a
John
legend,
Fogerty
eh?
got into my blood. Yeah, and I was hooked. I couldn't put the thing down after that.
Nice. And so it was literally a lightning bolt moment for you. One day you weren't playing, next day you were playing all the time.
Pretty much, it actually was. Yeah, I just got. I was hooked. Seriously, I was. I just loved. I just wanted to learn more and more and more. And my mate Mick, he's actually a drummer. I mean, he can play a lot. He plays bass these days, but he's mainly known for, I suppose, for being a drummer.
Mm.
But yeah, once he ran out of things he could show me, yeah, I was soon on the hunt for other people to show me anything they could.
Did you get official lessons, or you just got shown things here and there by people?
Oh, in Toowoomba, I used to go. I used to ride my bike out to Owen Ray's. A bit of a local legend in that area, and get lessons off Owen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I suppose as I progressed and become more advanced, Dale Robbins, who was definitely a local legend, guitar hero in Toowoomba. I used to go to Dale's house, and for a 6-pack of gold every week or every second week when he had time, I used to get guitar lessons from Dale Robbins. He's just an incredible player. He taught me how, I suppose, how taste and touch was probably the biggest thing he handed to me. Taste and touch.
Did you pick it up super
He's a
quickly?
weapon. I don't know.
Looking back on it, do you think you did?
I suppose I did. I was part of Michael's, my mate Mick, his mum, reeled me and my brothers into the Toowoomba Country Music Club.
Nice.
And yeah, and it was like that. Definitely, that's sowed the country music seed into my soul. I reckon there was just so many cool people there, and spawned so many relationships, which are still alive today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at the music club there was the juniors, which was us, as me and Mick, and Chris Mills and Vicky Kolashevsky, and Limbo Hotel, and me brother Andy, Nath, and a whole swag of others. We were the juniors, and we'd always, go to the hall and muck around and cause a ruckus. Yeah. And once the seniors were finished their rehearsal, it was our turn.
Nice.
And, I think we used to make a hell of a racket as well, but just so much fun. And they had different clubs all over southeast Queensland.
Okay.
So so every week, every second week, or every weekend, there'd be another country music festival that you'd go and compete in. But it was pretty much just a massive catch up and just so much fun. Like Benji Pocock and Sonia Kildee. They're on the Sunshine Coast now, but they were there back in those days. Stephen Sparrow, Ricky Chaplin. Oh, look, there's so many awesome people. But yeah, I've sort of rabbit holed now. I forgot your original question.
No, so have I. It doesn't matter.
That's what spawned. That's what happened from. You said you're talking about. Did I pick it up quickly? But people, the seniors from that, we're back. The seniors from that country music club, they were really encouraging, and they were always full of compliments that we were picking things up quick, and there was a lot of us in that crew that were maybe naturally took it on, had a natural skill to music, I suppose, or I don't know the correct words to use, but yeah, we all loved it.
Was there a part of you as the young kind of up and coming guns that wanted to show the older ones how it was done and thought that your shit didn't stink?
No, I don't think so. There was a couple. Well, there were a couple of seniors that you did feel things from and didn't really know how to. You didn't know. Yeah, there was a few little things here and there, but
like jealousy.
Good vibes. I don't know. Just sometimes if we'd win, come home from a festival with a heap of wins. Who knows? I don't know. I think you feel a few things here and there from some of the people, but it was can't really put anything bad to it. It was just it was really a great thing to be part of.
Yeah,
those awesome country music clubs and that whole southeast Queensland circuit. Yeah, it was unreal. It was so cool. I mean, Michael Moko, he was there as well. Michael Moko.
Okay.
There's so many others.
It's interesting. You and I both kind of started with kind of competitions. I did talent quests when I was like an 18, 19-year-old, and I had like a gold sparkly shirt that my mum...
I've seen that footage.
You have. And, as I cringed at it for ages, and now I look back and I go, fuck, that was a great shirt. I might get mum to make me another one. I think it's come back. But it's weird because music, it's not a competition. And the competitive side of music, and with all the TV shows and stuff now, kind of feels like it's a bit of a cheap and nasty part of the industry. But for you and me, it was so formative, in our early careers. How do you look at the whole competitive side of how you started out?
Yeah, well, I it is competitive. Those country music festivals, they were, you go and compete, but there were a few, I mean, to compete, it helps you sharpen your skills, right? So, I mean, it's a great way to, get kids, I suppose, into wanting to get better at something, and, but I don't know, there was something awesome. There was just something really cool about my childhood growing up in that southeast Queensland area with all those festivals, where you go to, Dolby one weekend, Redlands the next weekend, the Gympie Muster, they had their own talent search as well. But all over Warwick, Frozen Rodeo Festival, there was just so much fun hanging out with mates. Like, nice. The jumping on stage and playing an instrumental that I'd spent, the last month learning, was all of 5 minutes. And then I had the whole weekend just to muck around with me mates and, just cause havoc. It was fun, It was, it's different. I think it's different these days. The whole competitiveness, maybe. You know, like you're saying, the TV shows or whatever. Back then, it was more just, it was just fun. It was fun, and yeah, you go on stage and you compete. And if you won, bonus. But it was more about the hangout, the hang.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you think that Duncan of 13 or 14 doing those shows, or were you about that age or a bit older?
Yeah, 14 onwards, I suppose. Yeah. 14, 15 onwards, yeah.
So how do you think that, you know, 14-year-old Duncan doing these shows would look at current Duncan? Do you think he'd be like, wow, I really made it?
I don't know.
I mean, then, you know, if you could have said you're going to be playing on some of the biggest stages in Australia with some of the biggest artists in the country and win all these golden guitars, I mean, it must be pretty amazing sitting back and comparing yourself to that 14-year-old kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I've actually never thought that. When I was young, all I wanted to do was play guitar and play with great musicians. You know, Troy Casadale used to, talking about Owen Ray, who taught me, you know, when I was just starting out. Owen Ray used to have a shop called International Music in Toowoomba, and Troy Casadale used to do guitar clinics with, you know, he played Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff and some country stuff as well. But we remember going to watch Troy back then, and you know, and think about it. You know, I suppose after all these years, I've played on stage with Troy and made a whole heap of videos for him, and and become a really good friend. You know, and so it's kind of cool, isn't it? If you look at it like that, young Duncan would have been like, wow, look at all the stuff you've done.
I don't mean to turn it into this is your life, but I just think it's kind of interesting to look back at the kid that you were when you first started, and everything's so bright and shiny and full of possibility. And it's very easy to get caught up in, you know, a lot of the kind of failures that we have from time to time, and money pressures, and, you know, COVID's obviously been a tough time. I think it's kind of nice to look back and look at that kid and go, you know, you did all right.
Yeah. It's that naiveness, that what's the word, Michael? Just when you're a kid, you know, nothing's you can do anything. You know, you're superhuman, you know. There's no
the world is your oyster.
I mean, if you're in the right obviously some kids grow up without being in the right zone, you know, hanging out with the right type of crew. But if you're lucky enough to be surrounded by good people, supportive people, surrounded by love,
absolutely,
it's like you're immune. Like anything's possible, and what a cool way to be, eh?
Yeah,
imagine if you could stay like that forever.
Yeah, totally.
It's like you get older, and sometimes you get in your own way of things, you know.
And you think back to when you were younger and all you wanted to do was jam with your friends. And then you get older and basically the only time you jam is when someone's paying you to rehearse, or, you kind of lose a bit of that innocent just joy of playing.
Well, see, I haven't lost that actually. I'll do gigs. I'll sneak away and do a gig for free, and
nice.
Anytime I can have a jam here in my shed, like I'm down. Like, nice. I suppose the time is the hardest thing to find for me. Time to do that between work and then, my boys are teenagers now, so I try to spend as much time with them and helping them as I can these days as well. So
nice.
But yeah, I haven't lost that. I seriously love. I just love playing with people.
That's unreal.
Rather than music.
I think even I knew this before we started talking, but just the way you've been talking, community is so important to you, it seems. The people around you, you know, you've already mentioned about 12 people who were pivotal in in your early days. How important is community and relationships in keeping the love for this alive?
Yeah, I mean, music is collaborative for me. Yeah, it's yeah. I wouldn't enjoy it as much if it wasn't playing with people and those relationships. I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, music's all about sharing for me. Some
Yeah.
people, can do it all on their own, but yeah, not me.
Yeah. Nice.
It is really important.
I think that's why you're a very loved member of the community, and I'll move on from that because I don't want you to feel awkward in the aftermath of that sentence. One thing that I noticed, I first started playing in the country music scene in about 2009 when I joined Melinda Schneider's band. And the first thing that struck me was how incredible the musicianship was in the country music scene. I wasn't prepared for the virtuosity that I encountered, and you were one of those people that I first met that I went, holy shit, people play guitar that well? You blew my mind when I first heard you play. I don't know. There should be a question following that rather than just making that a statement.
No, I agree. The country music is just. I think it's because of the whole collaborative aspect of it. With in country, it is really collaborative. Someone would take a solo, like in your classic country song. There'd be a great hook. The piano would usually take, it's usually like fiddle or guitar in the first verse, but then second verse is the piano where they'd play in the space.
Yeah.
And then someone would take an amazing solo and that really supports the singer and the melody. Even apart from the record or the gig, it's all there's a lot of jamming that goes on behind the scenes in country, isn't there? There's always those jam sessions and everyone's, playing solos and instrumentals. And I don't know, I think it's a great breeding ground to become a great musician.
Yeah, totally.
It really is.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you think that the country music scene is, in Australia, that is it big or is it small? I kind of think of it as both.
I think it is big. It's very, very supportive. I know a lot of, across the board, whether, some of the bigger stars, they obviously can go out and fill big rooms or, bring lots of people to festivals. But even, someone like me who's just, always been in the background and who's sort of just starting out with, my music. I did a gig the other day with friends of mine, Drew McAllister and Mike Carr. And, we sold out a little venue ourselves. The country music audience are very loyal and very supportive, which it helps everyone make, a little bit of money and make a living out of it. So I guess in that way it is big. But if you compare it to something like Nashville or the US, where there's the population difference is so big. Obviously their big is huge. But I feel like although if you compare us to Nashville, we are country music here in Australia is kind of it's on the smaller side, but it's for our country it's actually pretty big because it supports a lot of musicians.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have you ever been tempted to make the big move like so many others? Do I need to explain where?
No, no, I haven't.
For the audience, let's say that is Nashville.
Yeah, I haven't been tempted to move. I mean, I've loved visiting Nashville and going over and having a great time and getting inspired. And but yeah, never felt like I'd want to move or live there.
Okay.
But never say never.
Yeah. You must have had.
I
Sorry.
love Australia. I love Australia.
Yeah.
I love the people.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I love Australia.
You must have had so many people over the years telling you to move to Nashville.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose there's been a few, but yeah. I mean, Stewie and Camille are over there now. I know, I mean, I've said that to Stewie myself over the years, and now they're over there really kicking goals and doing so well. They've just been accepted as, they're Nashvilleian, if that's what you call it.
That's so great.
So,
they're brilliant.
Stewie's, he's world class, and young Sonny's on his way to be there himself. And, well,
when you
Neil's
see
an amazing singer, and
when you see videos of
it.
Sonny, like a video came up the other day, and it was Sonny that posted it, and I was listening to it, and I had to look to see whether it was Stu or Sonny playing. and Stu French is one of the greatest musicians I've ever sat in front of, and I've had the honor of sticking microphones in front of him and recording him on records, and it's just such a freak talent. But there's Sonny, who's a teenager and sounding like his dad. It's crazy where he could end up, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, so young, and no, Stewie's always been world class. But they're over there having a go and on an adventure.
Yeah.
And I know I feel like Stewie does miss home. When I talk to him, I feel like he does miss home, and they're on a new chapter, and they'll play it out.
Speaking of new chapters, Duncan Toombs has always been known as a guitarist and a bit more recently a filmmaker, and you've done pretty bloody all right at both of those things, and now you're a solo artist. Well, I maybe take out the word solo, but you're an artist releasing your own music, and how does that feel?
Oh yeah, it's been it's good for the soul, Michael. It's one of those one of those one day things that I've now been able to actually achieve. Over the years, people will say, "Oh, you should sing your own. You should sing yourself," or have you ever written any songs? You should release something yourself. And you always say, "Oh yeah, one day, maybe, yeah." But that one day's finally here, and it's just been awesome. I've really just loved just putting out my own songs, and I've only released one so far, but I've got a full album. Full album ready to go, and my next single is due to drop in September.
Nice.
And I'm just really enjoying it. I really am. Bit of it feels like it's a bit of therapy for the soul.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that's terrified of releasing your own music?
I was a little bit anxious, and leading up, to releasing Run. But I don't know. For me, because I've gotten so busy over the last, I spent 15 years playing live and touring with, so many different artists over the years. And then I was so busy when I started having a family. I was away so much, back in those days, I spent 5 years with Adam Brand, and we'd go on the road for sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes a month, every now and then, and I missed so much of my son's first year, Jack. And back then I just yearned for something of my own that I could control, because I was the only, Amanda was home with the kids. I just yearned for something of my own that I could control if I could stay home or have to go, because I was a gun for hire. So someone says, "Hey, I've got to run, and I've got to, we've got a tour here." It's like, bang, I'm gone. I'm going to take it to make the money. But so when I realised I liked video editing and I loved video, I just took to it because I got to not take a tour here or there, or not take a gig, and be a dad and be at home more. And that just blew up.
That's beautiful.
We won 7 golden guitars in a row, and it really blew up. Got a small team going, and so many awesome adventures and memories with such beautiful people here at the Filmery. But that took me away from my music way too much. Yeah. So now here I am, in my 40s, and it's sort of just been slowly trying to pull me back, and it's finally happened. So I've released my own music, and now my life's leaning back into music again. I'm still doing film, obviously, but I think I've been yearning for it to just get back on stage and get playing with bands again, and so I've been not only enjoying putting my own music out there, but I've been really enjoying just leaning my life back into music again. It's been so much fun, and I'm definitely going to be doing more of it.
That's great. I was really surprised, that you very generously did an amazing session for me the other night, and we did a bit of a remote kind of recording vibe.
That was fun.
It was so fun. And I remember you saying, I haven't done a remote session, in ages, I think you said, or ever or something. And you said, this is really good because it gets me
we did
back
it right here, yeah. I was here.
You were literally there, and I was here.
And we were looking at each other, and I had a guitar in my hands.
It was just unreal. And I remember being surprised that, the guitar playing side of things had really taken such a backseat to the film side. So it's great that you're feeling like you're finding a balance now. Yeah. That's unreal.
I think the secret, everyone's always searching for the secret of life, but if you can balance things out, it seems to make you happy.
Absolutely. How did the music video side of things start for you, or the filmmaking side of things start for you? Did you fall into it?
Like I was saying, I was yearning for something of my own back then, and my wife had some like an old camera, and she had an old Dell computer with some editing software on it. And it was one of those old thin line, really, little Dell towers. Pretty much used for Word documents, pretty much. But I managed to get Premiere Pro on there, I found myself sitting up to like 5, 6 in the morning, just editing crap, just taking crap and making something of it. Pretty much what you see on socials these days. Just weird content that just is watchable. I just used to sit there and create all that sort of stuff out of just weird, videos or things from phones back then, which weren't very good quality. And Amanda's video camera. So I had no idea. I mean, all my life I've loved film. I've loved movies. I hate reading. I love visuals. It's just where my brain's wired. I find reading boring, but put something visual in front of me, I'm stuck to it. Especially when there's a great soundtrack too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just took to it, Michael. It just I didn't realise, but I discovered a massive passion for video editing and filming and creating mood. Like I used to love, and I still do it today. Actually, if I have, all through the Filmery's journey, we've had people over for work experience and and done a few little talks here or there at different, you know, like JMC type things, academies. But for me, the fun is in trying to marry the mood of a song to the mood of something visual. I always say to apprentices here that if you listen to a song, close your eyes and listen to a song, it's going to inherently put you in a certain mood. It's going to make you feel a certain way. It's going to stir up a certain kind of emotion. So then if you grab that song and put it aside, and then if you can create something visually that stirs up those exact emotions, when you join them back together and they marry, they both become more powerful than they ever could have been on their own.
Individually,
individually. And that's where you get, you know, tears. That's when you get laughter. That's when you get just like, that's when emotions overflow. And you go, wow, you know, what a moment. It's because what you're hearing and what you're seeing impacts you to where emotions do overflow, or, you know, memories are created, or, you know, something you'll never forget. And then I love that. That's what I love, and that's probably always been my goal with every video I try and make. You know, I have made some bad videos, like, you know, you know, we've all, you know, there's been ups and downs, but that's always my goal, is to try and marry that mood that that a song puts you in to the visual. Yeah.
I've always said that a music video has one job and one job only, and that is to make you like the song more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, true.
Anyway, that's the end of the podcast.
It shouldn't detract. It shouldn't detract. It definitely, you don't want to. Well, I mean, that's.
Here was I thinking that was profound.
No, well, that's where you can get stuck, because you know some. And I'm not saying like I said, I've made bad videos, but or videos. I've made videos that didn't quite, you know, when you watch something and it's just like, it's just something about it, you know. I don't know why, you know.
Yeah.
But it's the videos you make where you do marry those moods, where people go, wow, what a video. Because it enhances the spirit and the mood of the song. It brings that song to life more. And often if you get it right, you always hear comments like, I didn't really like the song, but I watched the video. It's like, wow, I love this. You know, that's where you know the director has done his job. You know, the creative's on the money.
Nice. Yeah. So I wasn't totally full of shit.
No.
Not totally. So do you reckon that when you had that Dell computer loaded with Premiere and that old camera, and you were playing around, you know, until all hours of the night, was that basically the film equivalent of 13, 14-year-old Dunk just jamming on guitar, trying stuff until all hours of the night?
Yeah.
Like, was it just a playground?
Yes, it was.
At first?
Yeah, definitely. Just a playground. Just a playground. I mean, that's my whole world. I'm always playing.
Yeah.
A mate of mine I've got the chance to work with over the years, over recent years, is David Bromley, who's an amazing artist. And he always says, get behind the driver's seat of your creativity and play, really play. Yeah. And that always sticks with me. Yeah, but I feel like whether I've got a guitar in my hands or I'm, you know, creating a music video for someone, I'm just playing. I don't really. I have a plan. I have a vision of what I want to get to, but often I don't really have a plan of how I'm going to get there. I can see a path, but it's often it can be very loose. But the moods, like, it's in the right zone for the mood. So I'm always just playing. It feels like what am I trying to say? It's like I don't always have a plan. I'm just playing, and it's luckily, more often than not, it's worked out.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, you've done pretty bloody well for yourself, mate. Do you remember the first music video that you made that was actually released?
Yeah, it was for Stewie and Camille, actually, with that, and I made it with Glenn Wilson because he started out in video when I started out. So, and we've obviously collaborated a lot over the years, and just really good friends. Toured with him over the year. I'm talking about Melinda Snyder. We were both on the Dixie Chicks tour with Melinda back in the day, and then the first gig in Melbourne. Apparently, we were so good. Well, Melinda's spot was too good because the Thorns complained, and basically Melinda had to send myself, Glenn Wilson, and Ian Leese home on a plane to dumb down the band. It was we were gone. Yeah,
Holy
so we did
crap.
one gig. Yeah. So we go back a long way, me and Glenn. But our first video was for Stewie and Camille. I filmed it with Amanda's crappy old Sony camera. We used my son Jack's pram as a dolly. So we had Jack's pram, and we had this crappy old plastic Taiwanese tripod, and we let the tires down a little bit on the pram, and we used that as a dolly. And Camille walked across this bridge in Menai, and and we shot some other stuff as well. But that was my first ever music video shoot, and Glenn Wilson edited it and color graded it, and it got on CMC. Tim Daly played it.
Wow,
good on you, Tim. And he
good on you,
Tim. He helped spawn a light a light bulb moment. Was like, oh, I could actually do this. It's actually I can do this.
Were you watching it the first time it got played on CMC?
I definitely saw it on CMC, but I'm not sure if it was the first time it ever got played.
Right.
Yeah, but I definitely watched it when I could.
That must have been such a great feeling.
Yeah, it was, and that's what really sort of set off. Like, I can this is something I can grab hold of and make my own, and that I can try and balance my life more so I could be a father to my two boys. I took to it.
That's bloody beautiful, Dunk. It's a beautiful story. Can we just go back to that Dixie Chick story, because that's a bit mind blowing. So how did you guys hear about that?
Well, no, we did our set, and the crowd loved it. Melinda sang her ass off.
She's an incredible singer.
Trying to remember who else was in the band. Can't remember. I think Tim Weddy was on keys. And someone else, I can't remember. But yeah, it was an amazing gig. The crowd went off, and then the Thorns went on after us before the Dixie Chicks in Melbourne.
Right.
And the
Where
crowd,
are the
they just
Thorns
did
from?
It was Nashville. They're from Nashville. One of the lead singers for the Thorns was what was his name? He did all that spoken word stuff back in the day when it started to become cool.
I can only think of Serge Gainsbourg, but I'm assuming it's not that.
The Thorns. I just got to type it in now.
Do a bit of Googling.
The Thorns. Yeah, his name. Sean Mullins. Yeah, Sean Mullins.
She grew up with the Children of the Stars.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. He does that sort of spoken word stuff. Matthew Sweet, Pete Trudge, and Sean Mullins. Anyway, so those cats were... I'll just bring this back up. So those cats went on after us, and they just didn't connect. Sometimes American acts come over here, and I remember... even at the Gimpy Muster, where they used to bring us some American acts over, and the hill would just go quiet. There's just no, they'd start singing about the American flag too much. I don't know. There's just sometimes American acts come over and they don't connect for whatever reason. And that happened in Melbourne that night. And we're in our dressing room, and we, like, I don't know, there was this vibe going on once the Thorns had finished. And I think, I'm not sure if it was Sean or one of the three guys, they weren't happy because they just, they bottomed at their first gig in Australia, and they blamed us because we were this full band. They were just the three of them. They just did it on their own with acoustics, I think.
Right.
And we had this big band, and Melinda sang great, and it was, great harmonies, and it sounded awesome. And so, yeah, before you knew it, it was the one and only Dixie Chicks tour gig I did with that outfit. And Glenn Wilson, myself, and Ian Lees were on a plane home the next day. And we had the whole tour booked in, we were meant to go around the country. And it's funny, we actually took a photo of ourselves waiting for the plane home, and we tagged the photo the three chumps. And to this day, we always say, "Oh, you're just a chump, mate, just a chump."
Wow,
and, takes us back to that moment.
That's Were you absolutely gobsmacked when that happened?
Oh yeah, well, we're all gutted. We just couldn't believe it, to be honest. It's like, oh man, come on, just like relax. We're just having a bit of, we're just playing. It's just music. Don't take it so seriously. Or write a song that's going to connect to Australians. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, it's bad sportsmanship, I suppose, of the music arena.
Talk about competitiveness, like we were talking about before.
Well, if you're a good musician, you're a good singer, and you've got a good bank of songs. I mean, Ed Sheeran stands in the stadium on his own. Yeah. And just, I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, where are those guys these days? I've never really heard of. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, hopefully watching this podcast, you bastards.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't realise what they were actually doing to the three chumps at the time.
That's right. Creating a lifelong bond of chumps.
Oh, you bastards. You bastards.
That's an amazing story. What if I said to you, can you think of like your first real pinch yourself moment? What comes to mind?
I don't know. First, I'm trying to think of my first one. I don't know. Maybe playing on stage with the Gimpy Muster. But a big one that I can remember is playing guitar with Brent Mason. That was amazing. It just in a shack about an hour south of Nashville. I was myself and Josh here at the Filmery. We took off to America for a month to film a series with Kevin Bloody Wilson, and it was a series. It was a songwriting series because Kev's a great songwriter, and he's had this idea, and I'm not sure where he is at with it. I'm not sure where he's at the moment with this idea, but it was a really cool concept for a TV show. So we took off for a month and filmed in the States. I won't say exactly what the show is because I don't want to, I don't want to wreck it for Kev. Yeah. But we were filming a spot in Nashville. We booked this log cabin about an hour south of Nashville, and Kev spent, a good 3 hours or so with Brent Mason. Brent was trying to teach him how to write a classic country song. Obviously covered a lot of the musical aspects of it, the musicianship side of that. And at the end of the shoot, the sun was almost down, and Kev, love you, Kev, said to Brent, actually, this guy on this camera over here, this big fella, he's actually a guitarist. What's the chance we can just film a bit of you guys having a bit of a jam? So next minute, Brent and I are playing Working Man Blues on a couch across from each other in a log cabin in the woods, an hour south of Nashville, and that was awesome. That was pretty cool. It's funny. A couple of years later, I was in Nashville again with Troy Cassadaly filming Troy making an album with all those guys, and Brent was on the session. And I never said anything because I just thought he wouldn't remember me. Like he's not going to remember, because this guy's around so many people every day of his life.
Yeah.
I just assumed he wouldn't remember me, but I was making him cups of tea and coffee. Anytime they'd come in and look at charts, I said to everyone, but it's like, Brent wants one. Yeah, sure, I'll make Brent a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. That was another pinch yourself moment. Yeah, he's probably one of the. I've never really gone fanny around, like, fan guy or fan. They say, is that how they say it? Fan guy, fan guy.
I think so.
I never really have gotten that way around people, that are, famous and stuff. But Brent is a different thing. I don't know why. I just go weird. I just go gaga in front of him. I just think he's such a god of a guitarist. And here I am, like, that's a pinch for him, making coffee for Brent while he's looking at charts of Troy's before they go in and do another song.
I so wasn't expecting your pinch myself moment to be making coffee for someone.
Mate, hey, we've all got our addictions, right?
Yeah. We've
all got our demons.
Some of us more than others, Dunk. Have you conversely ever had a moment on stage where you wish that the stage would just swallow you up?
Oh yeah, when you hit a clanger, for sure. Yeah. But it's I sort of laugh at them these days.
Yeah.
Or when you start a song on the wrong key, or you got the capo on the wrong fret. Oh my God. There's nothing much worse. It's just like, kill me now, God.
Yeah.
For the love of all that's good and holy, take me from this earth.
It really is a roller coaster of a job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a mix of emotions.
Yeah. Do you have a set kind of creative process, Dunk? In terms of, well, let's look at film for a second. Do you have a set way that you like to approach making a film, or specifically a music video, for example? Or does it all unfold completely different each time?
Yeah, once I get, it's about trying to find a creative that's going to put the viewer in the right mood. Once I get that in my head, it's just like, just do it. I don't really have, there's no, like I said, the probably better way to describe me is I'm not good at structure. I can't structure I have trouble with balance, in my life. I don't have structure, and I'm happy to live in chaos. I can literally come to work knowing there's a couple of things I've got to get done, but somewhere along the way I end up doing 10 other things, and I can literally throughout a day just jump from job to job to job to job like a yo-yo. And probably not the most efficient way to get things through the hoop, but it's just me. It's just part of who I am. I lack the ability to really have structure. So when I in the creative process, what gets me through is my ability to see the edit in my head. I can visualize what I want it to look and feel like. So I guess I get the chance to make it up as I go a bit. I mean, if you ever talk to Glenn Wilson, he'll attest to that. He'll often see. He's got this photo. I wish I could find it. I'll put it on the screen for you. But if you're ever talking to Glenn Wilson, it was something. We were filming a Sarah Story video, and it was in here. We created this massive set, and it was a pretty powerful video. Actually, it was pretty confronting about child abuse. But
I think I remember that one.
Do you?
Yeah, was that maybe 9 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, it was a fair while ago.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I had all this stuff to do. Like there was lots of different elements, and I had this some people have like a shot by shot checklist or, you know, a storyboard. But my list that I was carrying around that Glenn grabbed off me at the end of the day and just laughed at me, and he held it up to the camera and took a photo, was something like Sarah doing something, actor doing something, and other stuff. That was it. It was and other stuff. That was my storyboard, and Glenn always has a bit of a chuckle, but he's a chump too, so he's just a chump. No, but yeah, we often laugh about those. I try and structure. I make the best intentions to structure, but usually, whether I'm making a video or I've got a guitar in my hands and I've listened to the song a few times and I sort of know pretty much what the song's about, and I've got sort of the licks in my head, I've sort of run them, but I don't play them exactly. I'm just winging it. And I'm riding the lightning no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I guess there's obviously nothing's perfect, but in that ride you often come up with things that like, whoa, where did that come from? Or wow, I never thought of that, so I guess pros and cons.
Do you ever think about where those moments of inspiration come from? Or do you kind of try and work out what it actually is, if it's you or if it's from somewhere else, and if it's from somewhere else, where?
Inspiration for videos or songs, or
just when you might be doing something and you go, I don't know where that idea came from. I've never played that lick before. I've never, just those moments of pure inspiration when you're kind of riffing or jamming.
Yeah, often it'll be like, if I'm in the studio, it'll often be someone else saying that, where did that come from? And my pretty much 99% of the time, my response is, I have no idea what I just did.
Yeah.
And I don't, because I'm literally, just, I'm not really there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I feel that way. It does, because like people say, well, like, how did that happen? Or, how did you play that? Or like, well, what was that lick? And I was like, it's literally 2 seconds later, and I go, well, I don't know. Can you play it back? I have no idea what I did or how I did it. It's just happened.
I'd love to explore that a bit, if that's all right. Because,
sure.
Athletes talk about being in the zone, and musicians do too, when they're on stage and they're in the studio and they're in the zone. And to me, that means they've turned off thinking, they're not thinking anymore. They're just allowing all of their training and all of their skills to just pour out in an organic fashion. And I just find it fascinating. Where does that, how do people harness that, or how do people open themselves up to that kind of creative muse?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's I'm trying to do a deep dive into it. It's probably more the ability to express yourself in a certain way. Like some people, are good at poetry and they're great at reciting it, and when they start reading it, it just takes on this new. It's like, wow, it's not just like they're reading words. It's like something's taken over. It's because they've worked out a way, or it feels natural to. They've got a natural pathway for that emotion to channel through, and there's nothing blocking what they're doing. It's just literally coming straight from their heart, and it's going straight out. Their brain doesn't stop it or block it or deflect it in any way where it becomes something not raw emotion.
Yeah.
When I play guitar, I definitely zone out. I don't play things exactly like other people if I'm learning parts. It's like once I go to play it, it's just like it just comes out, and it's just it's gone. There's nothing really. My brain's not in the way to make it
criticize.
Sound exactly like someone. It doesn't work that way. It just that emotional pathway form. It's just boom. It's just out. Like it happens the way it happens, and it's gone, and I don't even know what I played.
Unreal.
Of course, it's in the zone because it's something like what the artist wants you to be playing, but something about, I suppose, when you get to a certain point where you've practiced enough, or you've do you know what I mean? Am I explaining right? It's just like,
yeah, totally.
I feel free to. I find it easy, and there's nothing that blocks the emotion of playing or singing. For me, I can just push that out straight from my heart. My mind doesn't get in the way.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
That's beautiful. I think the block for a lot of people, and certainly myself included at times, is the internal critic that says you're not good enough. Do you ever face that internal critic?
Yeah, I think that comes after. Yeah, you're not good enough.
Yeah, it comes at different points.
Different points.
Yeah,
yeah. I think we yeah. I suppose I don't think that a lot. I don't think I'm not good enough. For being completely honest, sometimes I feel like more for me is like I don't deserve, maybe more of that angle. But
why do you think that is?
I don't know. Not that I, sit there and think I don't deserve stuff all the time. It's just I never think in my brain, I'm not good enough. I just think everyone's got something to offer. Everyone's got their own. I think it helps as you get older. You see these things for what they are. But yeah, everyone's got their own. Everyone's got something to offer in this world, and we all doubt, and we all go down those roads of disbelief or not believing in ourselves, or my stuff's not good enough. And maybe my thing where it's I'm not good enough is comes from the fact that I don't feel like I'm master. Like if you're talking about learning a song or a guitar lick or whatever, I never play it exact. I can't. I just cannot play something exact. I don't know why. It's like I hear it, I can hear it, and then, but for me to play it, it has to come through this. It comes out of my heart. I know it sounds cheesy, but
no, it's going through the Duncan Toombs filter.
It's something raw. It's rawness when I play. I can't think. It doesn't work like that. If I think, it's all over. So, but out of that, sometimes you think, I don't play things exactly, or I can't do exactly what. I'm not clinical like other players. Sometimes.
Is that right?
Maybe I'm not good enough. I don't know. That's where that belief comes in. But I suppose as I've gotten older, it is what it is, and sometimes raw emotion, without the brain involved to make something clinically perfect, people respond to that far more than someone wowing someone because they clinically nailed a perfect take.
Absolutely.
Emotion wins in the end,
Yeah. I think you should go back and listen to Every Rose Has Its Thorn and learn the guitar solo note for note.
DC DeVille, man.
Yeah. So,
oh, man.
I'd love to talk about the comparison between being a musician and a filmmaker. The creative process either of writing a song or coming up with parts for a song as a gun for hire, as a guitarist, for example. Does it feel like it comes from the same creative part of the brain as the part of you that comes up with film ideas?
Or
is that a really shit question?
No, it sort of does, yeah. I mean, again, I'm just, a song will make me feel an emotion, and I use that emotion. I pick up that raw emotion, and I think, wow, what am I thinking visually while I'm basically, sifting through that emotion I'm feeling, So in a way it does, yeah, it helps me with my video work. Yeah, kind of anything I do, I kind of react emotionally. Can be good.
Yeah, I can tell.
Can be
That's
good.
beautiful.
Other times not. Other times not. Yeah.
Are you? You don't have to answer this, and I'll preface it with I definitely am. But are you do you cry a lot?
Do I cry a lot?
Are you a crier?
Not a lot, but if emotion gets to me, yeah, I'm gone. Yeah, I'm gone. Yeah,
I'm hopeless.
It's actually it's tough. Watching a movie with the kids sometimes, and if something's pretty dramatic, or a feeling, the music hits and there's something going on, I'll be holding back a little bit, and the kids look at you. It's like, are you crying? And I'm like, no. Obviously they can see you. The eyes are a bit more watery.
Yeah.
But there's always a bit of fun in the lounge room. But yeah, no, I do. I suppose I do. Yeah, things I react emotionally. I'm an emotional guy.
Yeah.
But,
and that's a beautiful thing.
Like I said, yeah. I mean, it's, we're all different, but sometimes those things can help you in other ways, like they do for me. I use my emotions to my advantage, I suppose.
In what ways?
With music and film, I use it's the same stuff that helps me do what I do and create. Yeah.
So having a job like you do, which is just playing all the time, basically you're just playing with toys. What do you do to unwind when you need to unwind from that?
Look, through COVID, I took up golf, and I love playing golf.
Man, let's play. I'm a golf nut.
Love playing golf.
Yeah.
I used to have a boat, which I sold to pay off my Red camera. Just sitting back there. But yeah, my father passed away last year, and he had a really old tinny that we were going to take out. We had it all ready to go, and then he got crook.
I'm sorry.
But that boat's now sitting in my driveway, and it was actually just on Sunday, 12 months since he passed away, and so we're just about ready to. I'm going to take it out and grab the banjo and just sit out on the water with the banjo and have a few beers and toast one to Dad.
That's beautiful. I lost my dad at 11, so I kind of, it's something that you never get over, but you can keep them alive in many ways, but that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I was with him. I was in Toowoomba last week, and I went and visited his grave, and I don't know. I still feel him around me. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I talk to him, here and there, and
That's
I
actually
can't believe
really
it's been 12
healthy.
months.
Yeah, it's actually really healthy to talk to them, because you can keep a relationship there, and yeah. Anyway, I don't know. That's a lot. So, what advice? Sorry, I just.
Yeah, no, obviously that's a big thing for you. That's probably since 11. Wow, I can't imagine. That's a big thing to carry around. Since 11.
Yeah, it is, and obviously the more time that goes on, the easier it does become in some ways. But I've kind of learnt through some great counseling, particularly how to have a healthy relationship with my dad's death.
Yeah.
And I think for me, up until I saw my counselor, who I recorded a podcast with actually, and that'll be coming out at some point, probably before this one goes out. But I saw an amazing counselor, and I always thought that I knew how to process Dad's death because I cried a lot. And so I thought that was all you needed to do, was just let it go. But he really taught me to, so Dad's death, Dad for me always represented sadness because I'd lost him at such an early age. So whenever I thought of Dad, it was the main kind of thought was the sadness that was residual there.
Yeah.
And what my counselor taught me is that it's how to enjoy the other parts of my relationship with my dad, which was, the happiness as well. And so now when I think about my dad, it's not just sadness. It's both, and that was a huge thing. I
think it's good to hang on to the good things, Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
I do that with my dad, My mum and dad split up when I was young.
Right.
And Dad had a lot of problems with alcohol over the years. And but I think it's something my mum installed into the three of us boys, is her ability to forgive. And
amazing.
Yeah, she my mum, just one of those, it's like an angel on earth, She's one of the kindest people, and she definitely helped shape the hearts of us three boys, Nathan, myself, and Andrew. And but I can't help. It's just like as simple as it's just like breathing. I always look for the good in people, and I think I owe that to my mum, and I do that with my dad. But his mind got in the way of a lot of things for him. When he was young, I think he was 7. Maybe a little bit old. I can't remember. He was 9 or something. He was playing on a roof in Toowoomba with his brothers and mates, and he fell through. It was a big warehouse. Fell through the roof, dropped like 12, 15 meters through ballast, through wood at the top, and then straight onto a cement floor. He was in a coma.
Man.
So when he woke up, he had to learn how to walk and talk again, and he had to start. He stayed back a whole year in school because of obviously the learning thing, and all his life he always had just trouble. He was aggressive at times, and just always. My uncle Greg always said he'd start a fight in an empty room, in an empty house, and he bloody could. But amongst all that, he had a heart of gold. Hey, at his funeral, so many people just had so many amazing things to say about him. How he was so giving and such a pure heart, and he did, and that's what I hang on to. I just hang on to just all the good things.
Yeah.
We've all got our demons.
Yeah.
Why hold on to that stuff, So always try and look for the good. I think I got my mother to thank for that stuff. Always look for the good in life, or the good in someone.
I think of all the things you've said, that is just so profoundly beautiful. And thank God for your mum and for your dad with his heart of gold, and the fact that they brought you into the world. We're all luckier and richer for it. What advice would you? Sorry to just left turn. What advice would you have for up and coming creatives that are trying to make a living out of, or at least just trying to do something that they love and see where it takes them, what advice would you have for them?
Like Bromley says, get behind the driver's seat of your creativity and just play. Kind of just works, isn't it? Like, you just got to play. I mean, we're constantly, as you get older, you're constantly surrounded by, reminded of the fact how quick and how short life is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've never felt comfortable being a preacher, and again, it's probably due to the fact I don't feel like I'm just winging it as I go. You know, I don't. Yeah, it all comes from that space, like I was talking about. Totally. That's where my self-doubt comes from as well. So I've never felt comfortable as a preacher, but yeah, life's short. Just if you find something that makes you, that excites you, that inspires you, you just gotta jump on it and have a go, and be willing to go through, hard times, whether it's financial, or be willing to go through what you need to go through to get you there. I'm sure you can think of a few things as well, but there's many times throughout my early 20s of out there playing, and just I don't know how, I remember surviving on 2-minute needles and cans of tuna. Yeah. At once, from in parts of my life, Yeah. But yeah, I think these days, obviously it's a different world for kids these days. And there's actually a lot more competition. So in a way, it's they've got a lot more resources available to them. But at the same time, there's so many people trying to do all the same things. So my advice would be, know who you are and be proud of who you are, and do you. Just stay in your lane and do you, because that's the only thing that's going to set you apart from so many other people. Don't try and imitate, just do you. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to be happier anyway, because you haven't tried to be anyone else. If things don't work out exactly what you dreamed, at least you've had fun doing you. Not slaved away and tried to be someone else.
Yeah. Totally.
That's my advice. But I'm not preaching. No preaching.
Well, I wouldn't call that preaching, my friend. I have goosebumps, and I have a serious case of the warm and fuzzies. Mate, you are one of the most loved people in the industry, and anyone that's watched or listened to this will know why. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been not only fun and a blessing to talk to you on the podcast, but a total honor. And thank you for joining me, my friend.
Oh, no worries, Michael. Thanks, mate, and thanks for having me. It's been a good chat.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it myself. I really enjoyed it.
Me too, mate. Thank you so much.
Let's do another session sometime soon, eh?
Absolutely. I'll have to write another joke song. Did you see the video, by the way?
Yeah. Oh, it's unreal, mate. You did a great job. Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
You got the gift. Winging it.
I got the gift of something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
It's
all right, legend.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.